Do, 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 do.
I'm at 11 seconds actually. And all right, 1 second.
All right, I'm ready when you are.
All right, sounds good. Hey everybody here. Just restarting the intro here for YouTube. This is the semifinal match here between the Kiwi and Rwj in Battlegrounds, and we're gonna dive right in. Ready, Hitch? 3, 2,
Absolutely.
1, go.
All right, now most important thing here: RWJ in the blue, Kiwi coming in, cyan. What does this mean? What is the significance? Why cyan?
I'm guessing he likes the color. I'm not sure. It's going to be an interesting matchup. Franks versus Ethiopians. What do you think about that? I'm going to update the scoreboard as well.
Well, I think it plays into a theme we saw a bit tonight, and then we've seen it in some of the previous series we've played here. A mobile civ and a slower civ, right? Um, on Arabia, I think historically mobility has always been important, not the only way to win, but knowing nothing else, that's where I would lean. But the Ethiopians, not a bad civ by any means. Um, it's going to be about who's in control of this game. I think we saw this in some previous games. I personally think the person with the slower civ, the slower units, less mobility, needs to be aggressive. They need to be in their opponent's face to choose the fight. Make your mobile opponent fight you on your terms. Don't let him dictate the battlefield.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that a more defensive civ in this case, being with Ethiopians and the faster firing archers, is going to be really nice. But again, like you said, who's going to have the map control? Who's going to push with this? Again, we see another generation on Arabia where Rwj has 2 main golds forward. That's going to be difficult to secure. He's not even going to be able to wall those in.
Well, he at least has the benefit of his main gold is the one that's on the back, so it's not as bad as it might feel.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, I'm not a big fan of his map. I think obviously it's going to be wallable. It's going to be interesting to see what he does with this. On the other side, though, the Kiwi, his base, he's got a main gold that's going to be rather exposed. Another gold, secondary gold there, closer to Rwj, but his other gold's really safe in the back. And I mean, I'm not a big fan of either of the maps really for either player here, but they chose to play on, and we'll see how this turns out. So who do you favor in this matchup here, Ethiopians or Franks? Like, if you have to play this, who do you favor and why?
Ethiopian Franks on Arabia. I don't like them, but I'm taking Franks. Franks have been one of the best civs in the game for a long time on maps like this. I think it's hard to argue against them. Not to say the Ethiopians don't have a chance. If you put me on the spot, that's who I'm taking. The real question will come down to how does he play the civ? Is he going to play it boring, traditional knights, paladins, blah blah, or is he going to go for the new meta, cav archers, throw his opponent off, make RWJ invest into skirmishers, so that when he does switch to paladins, it's a steamroll.
Yeah, interestingly enough, I think it was in fact Rwj who went the Frank Cav Archers, so that would be really interesting to have that countered against him. But I don't think we're going to see that here. I think we're going to see the double archery range, crossbows, and I mean, Ethiopian Siege is no joke either. I think that's really going to be beneficial. I have seen a few things from RWJ already. I mean, he built a house earlier with like 6 villagers. That wasn't ideal. I don't like where he's building his houses at this point. Not sure how those are going to help him wall off his base at all here.
Yeah, but I'm seeing more villager idle time than I'd expect at this point in the series from Kiwi, just standing, waiting for goats. So, we'll see. I do want to say about the map, relics definitely favor Kiwi if they decide to pursue them, but I feel like we've seen through this whole series, even on arena maps, there haven't been many.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, relics have not been prioritized much in the tournament, unfortunately, but interesting barracks placement for Rwj. I'm guessing he thinks his opponent is towards the southern corner or the eastern corner of his map. Not sure what you go with this though.
Yeah, not sure why he thinks that, but
Well, he has
also
not
he should be
scouted his
seeing the main.
opponent, so he doesn't think he's
Right,
going to be
but
that close.
he should see the gold now, though, the stone. If he's paying attention, he should have an idea, but scouting has also not been the best in the series, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Kiwi is, he's manually scouting right now. He's worried to lose his scout. He's not shift clicking, not doing any auto scouting with it. So, I mean, it is what it is for him. He has yet to find his opponent as well, and they're actually going to be scouting in the same area for each other, which is interesting. They don't know where they are. I mean, and it is a little bit unusual to see this kind of generation. I feel like they're a little bit spread out more often than not, but
yeah, they're pretty close. In the chat here, Weasel predicting Axemen versus Elephants. I'm very curious to see the Ethiopian team up with the Persians and import some elephants here.
yeah, I mean, I don't see that happening, but I mean, we do have a Drush going to be coming from Rwj. He's got his third militia already available. It's going to be interesting to see if he finds any damage here, and it's not even going to be a Drush at this point because he's already almost in feudal age.
Or more so, he has not found Kiwi yet. He is still looking around. He's sending them out to the north side of the map, but he did not confirm the enemy location.
Yeah, I mean, neither of them have actually found each other at this point. I think we're going to see the Kiwi potentially find him. He's idle to scout at the moment though, so he doesn't know where he is either. I think that this man-at-arms rush here is just not going to do any damage unless he gets lucky and finds him, which he may have found him with a scout in the back now. So he
but it's too late.
But yeah,
he should have had those militia in his base a few minutes ago if he wanted to make this be a worthwhile move, and he didn't, so it won't be.
Yeah, I mean, the walling is very confusing for the Kiwi. He's all over his map with the walls, and they've blocked off nothing at this point. I mean, and these men-at-arms are actually going to find a Vil kill here, it looks like. Nope,
or they're going
to...
yeah, or they're just going to say hello and be on their way.
Yeah, but I mean, I do like this from Rwj. He is putting pressure on. He is trying to do something with his units, even though he was so late to find everything. I mean, the Kiwi's just trying to wall up such a huge corner of the map, and I don't know why. I mean, I get the front of your base is really open, but as Franks, you should probably just drop farms and stables and go into scouts and tape map control. Worry about walling up a little bit later.
Right, I definitely understand why he's going for the walls where he is. It's a rough map. That's why he didn't know where to wall earlier. But right, I think the answer is you need to fight back, not try to hold out.
Yep, but here, as I just said, focus on getting the stables up. The stable denied for the Kiwi. That one hurts. It's at 56%, and right now he doesn't have any military on the field. Just as a starting scout, he's lost his stable villager. He's panic walled in his one wood line, but not even completely. So at this point, Rwj has got the advantage. He's got his 2 archery ranges already down. His eco balance looks pretty good. It looks like he's probably going to start producing archers, and he's not going to have any scouts or anything to worry about. So he might even just send these forward right away.
Yeah, housed, unfortunately. A bit of an inefficiency in the play, but he's battering down the first stable, forced the second one, wasted wood for our Frank player Kiwi here. Definitely well played by the Ethiopian player. This is exactly what I wanted. If you remember, if you're the slower civ, I like to pick the fight, right? Make him fight on your terms. Don't let him come to you.
I absolutely agree. I mean, and at this point, with this amount of map control and the military lead, I mean, you're going to be in a really good position to even go forward with some siege.
Now, yeah, not to mention a Vil lead for Rwj, thanks to the kills in the idle time earlier. The Kiwi, he's about to click up. He doesn't have the gold yet, but he has 800 food, short on gold. Meanwhile, RW has absolutely no food.
Yeah, I have to step away for a minute. Be right back.
Absolutely. I like the pressure from RW, but scouts that are on the way for Kiwi. Kiwi will have the option any minute to go with the 5-6 gold miners. He can go Castle Age anytime he wants. A little bit more food now. The scouts are driving back this attack. I don't like that RW held back the archers in the archer range. He has 6 garrisoned, 4 more queued. If those were forward with the men-at-arms and the scout, he could fight these scouts. He could be picking villagers off the base. Not to mention housed again. It's sloppy, considering his lead. He's fine, but he's going to get cleaned up here. It looks like, yep, his little front. He should have had those archers forward. It would have been a much better fight. He needed to keep the pressure on because Kiwi, although he is short on villagers by 2, he has a lot more food. He has similar other res. Although Kiwi has not clicked up, I expect it any time. Scouts coming forward for Kiwi. Here's the counterattack. This is exactly what we would have wanted to seen from a Frank player. Use that mobility. It's just, I feel like it's a tragedy. Kiwi's on his way up, 20% on his way up now. RW gave up the initiative. He gave up his advantage. He's not even fully walled. These scouts are going to come in. He has the archers to counter him, but this archer should have been forward. It should have been killing Vils. Should have stopped this from ever becoming the scenario. Such a misplay. Unfortunately for Kiwi, running in under the TC, taking some damage, getting hit by the archers. Lost the scout there. So he's not going to accomplish a lot with this raid. Just to be expected based on RW's lead. I just hate to see a lead be less of a lead than it could have been. I definitely feel he threw it off. Maybe he wanted to wait for a crossbow before he went in, and that will work for him. But the ambition of these walls just, I don't know. It seems a little bit schizophrenic on both players. They take a step forward to take a step back. But what it comes to, we are about to hit Castle Age, 85% for Kiwi. Meanwhile, RW finally has the res and clicks up, but he's going to be behind by 90% of progress. There will be knights in his base before he can get crossbow, well before he can get pikes. But there are the numbers. If RW keeps these numbers, let's check here. RW is sitting with 19 archers in the field. He can take whatever comes at him right now. Kiwi needs the numbers before it's worth committing for.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of archers to deal with at this point in time. But again, he's not being very aggressive with it, and we do have the Kiwi in Castle Age before. I think at this point you have enough to fight a few numbers, but I think you might even consider just holding back before you get your upgrades. Since you're on your way to Castle, you can easily defend this, but he is going to send them forward.
But hear me out. He had 6, 7, 8 archers garrisoned when you left, and he lost his forward men-at-arms. He lost his starting scout. If he would have had 6 archers forward, he lost him against 4 scouts. He could have kept the pressure on. He could have kept killing Vils. And he's doing all right despite it, but I feel like he lost some initiative.
Yeah, I mean, he did, but I mean, 24 archers forward. He's about to hit Castle Age. You have, what, 4 or 5 knights there to deal with this, with a few scouts in between. I mean, find yourself a nice little corner, take the fight if you have to, but I still feel like
crossbows coming in now. Yeah, crossbow any moment. Any
Yeah, the
moment.
knights aren't even
Any
+2
moment.
though. This is a fight for Rwj to lose here, and he's not going to. It's not pretty. He didn't lose a whole lot there.
I feel like Kiwi really squandered his lead in getting up in the age. He didn't have the res to make units fast enough to hurt RWJ. He got up. RW clicked up barely before Kiwi hit Castle Age, so there were a good. What's the research time? 2 minutes plus.
Yeah.
Where Kiwi did not take advantage, and now the archers are coming into the wood line, forcing him off the wood. We're back to where we were in the feudal age.
Yeah, this is where I would really love to see a forward workshop, and there is a villager coming forward for Rwj, and I think that's what he needs to do. He needs to get in here, get a siege workshop in, and keep applying pressure. I mean, he's booming behind this. He has crossbow numbers. They have upgrades. It's something that he's gonna lose maybe his forward Vil though, which is unfortunate for him here.
Yeah, that was poor planning, I think, to not be ready. If you're going to send the Vil forward, you need to have the military there. Still a good 4 Vil lead for RW. Lots of vitals for the Kiwi with all these raids. As far as res goes, RW also still has the lead there. He's in a good position. He's just got to keep using these archers. Don't let them sit idle in the back of the base. You need to be taking Vils out constantly.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
If he would come on that wood line, get to that gold, Kiwi would be in a very bad position. I also don't like Kiwi not doing anything with these knights. He's up to 11. They don't have their attack upgrades yet, but they're getting some upgrades. Either fight the crossbowmen or go raid, and I think I would prefer raid at this point. But
yeah, I mean,
considering how passive the archers are being,
a lot of military in the back of the Kiwi's base. It's just gonna keep hurting him until he takes care of it. And at this point, it's either take care of it or try for a counterattack. But I think you have to take care of it at this point.
Yeah, but not like this. Half of the units going in, half of them not. Scattered response. He's going to kill a lot of archers, but will it be enough? It looks like he will. I think he will clean this up.
And he'll have that extra defense, so he should clean this up. But it still hurt him a lot. He had all that back there for so long. He's had to deal with it. He's, kept his eco numbers going though, so he's got that going for him. He's not out of this at all.
Behind 6 Vils, 3 TC. He's not doing terrible. Only 2 TC for RW. So with the archers gone, it is entirely possible that Kiwi could bounce back. And here's where the mobility comes into play.
Yeah, he's going to have some units, but I think at the same time we are seeing crossbows just gather up here. I think he's going to get his numbers up and try to make... He's actually switching into barracks, and he's making man-at-arms, which is an interesting maneuver. Maybe it's a misclick, but he has multiple barracks, or just the one right now, but he's got multiple skewed.
See, I dislike the passive play here from Kiwi. Take those knights forward. He could have stopped these archers from numbering. Now they're starting to get to the point where they're a threat again. Clean up the mess in your base, and then go put the pressure on. You're the Franks. You don't sit. You don't wait. You take the fight to the enemy.
Yeah, he's just allowing for a lot of time right now to pass. A lot of valuable time. I mean, these numbers are getting pretty large. You're going to have a meat shield in front. I mean, he has 7 man-at-arms. He does have pikemen queued next, so I'm guessing he just misclicked that one. But no military production able to come from the Kiwi at this point. He has the res, he's just not producing. And of course, as I say that, he does have one knight pop out. But nonetheless, his eco is not as good as it is for RWJ. I think we're just seeing a big number build for RW because he wants to finish this. He wants to push in with everything he can, and just try to just get the GG call out as quickly as possible.
Right. I'd like to see RW start letting that food accumulate behind this now. Obviously, keep your Vil production up, but he does have the advantage in that his units aren't, most of his units, his main unit, not costing him food. Let the food build up. Get ready to go to Imp. Get your upgrades then. Impress your advantage now, though.
Yeah, but we are going to see what looks to be a forward castle coming in.
Oh, indeed. And if he's going to sit in this choke point by the walls to guard it, hopefully this time he doesn't make the mistake he did before and overcommit his military and risk his villagers.
Yeah, he's going to pull him back there. He's going to get this castle up. I believe it without a doubt. He'll get this one up. I mean, he's still got military there. He's got the castle coming up. Right now you're seeing no reaction coming in for the Kiwi.
My only issue is that I don't love the castle location. I mean, it's a forward castle. It's hard to complain about a forward castle, right? But it doesn't deny anything of value. It does help hold your position, but
yeah, I mean, it's not ideal, but rather than push in any farther, I mean, he is going to be sitting right in front of the military production buildings. He is going to have military left after this fight. He did force an engagement here, and I mean, I don't love it, but where else are you going to put it? I mean, you could, yes, go to the other side and put it near the stone over there of the Kiwi, and, hit the town center, but, I mean, I like the momentum. We do see a counter castle coming down here for the Kiwi, and Frank's having cheaper castles. I'm not sure that dropping a castle is the right move, but the crossbows and longswords, pikes mix are going to actually deny this castle.
Which and we've seen so much of this game in this game. These knights sitting idle. It would have made complete sense to send the knights in, deal with the archers, and save those vills like this.
I mean,
what do you think of scorpions, Frank? Scorpions.
I mean, against the composition, I think it's okay, but I think it's not going to do you any good in the long run.
Here we go again, pulling the knights back, not using them, and he lost, I think, another vill, and he still has the castle denied.
Yeah, I mean, military production is going to keep coming behind this. It's just Kiwi has idled his military production to click to the Imperial Age, and now we're going to see, yeah, that castle is going to go up, but it's not going to matter. It's actually probably going to help RW, because he's just going to wait for his trebs and his numbers to build, and he's going to be able to get his upgrades. And with his military numbers and his forward position, I really think, especially since these villagers are going to come out over here and put another castle down somewhere, it looks like, I think that it's RWJ's game to lose at this point. I do like the RAM edition coming in here, but I feel like it's just too much investment for the Kiwi. He really needs to get up. He doesn't have anywhere close to the right amount of gold to come up, and he's already lost a ton of map control.
Absolutely. This game is starting to feel like a bit of a lost cause, unfortunately, for a Frank player. Another castle going up for the Ethiopians in the middle, gaining that map control. This is exactly what I wanted to see earlier. This is the Ethiopians have been forcing fights. They've been applying pressure, not as much as I'd like, obviously. We always want more pressure, right? But
absolutely.
But he has not allowed the enemy to use mobility. Now I don't know if Kiwi has been passive with his knights because he's afraid of the pressure, or if he's just being passive because that's how he plays. But either way, these knights, all the idle time on the knights is horrendous. I think the wood line on the left side of RW's base is exposed. There's gold that could be hit in his base, another wood line that could be hit in his base. Mobility is your strength here. You can't sit back and let the archers take the fights they want.
Yeah, I mean, he should have at the very least tried to move forward, like you said, try to kill the military production early, keep it in their base, taking back some map control. I mean, we do have the second castle up on a very, very good hill, We have Trebs coming on 2 castles now. Gonna take down the Kiwi's castle, most likely before the Kiwi even gets a Trebuchet produced.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have a large number of military for RWJ. It's 46 to 31, but a lot of the units that are going to be coming forward are actually going to be Rams and Scorpions with the Knights. So we'll see how that works out for the Kiwi, but I
Yep.
don't expect it to go very well.
I don't know what to make of the AI army over here that RW is fighting with. Crossbowmen, Shotel, pikemen, longswordsmen, um, eclectic mix.
Yeah, but Arbaleth with pikemen and longswords in front against Knights, all the Knight numbers will go down that came out over here.
Absolutely.
He is
Now
going to probably take down this castle, but I don't think
right. He's getting very close to losing the castle, but he lost his own, and those Rams, those Knights are not going to last once his castle's down.
Yeah, and now the issue is going to be, you don't have Knight numbers, you have Scorpion numbers. What are you going to do with Scorpions against Arbalest that have a range of 8, which is 1 range more than the Scorpions?
You're going to lose them, right?
Exactly. I mean, I can see the play, like, I get it, you think he's just going to go into pikemen and longswords, and in Castle Age, with that lack of additional range, it's not a bad play, but it's just not going to be good. I mean, he's going to get a decent bit of HP loss in a few of these Arbalest, but he doesn't have even Cavalier to back it up. He's also researching heavy Scorpion right now, and he's losing all of his Scorpion numbers at the same time.
Right, heavy Scorpion. I gotta be honest, that's another move that I would have not expected to see on Frank. Your tournament here has brought out a lot of interesting Frank strategies.
It certainly has, but hey, I don't even know that Frank's had heavy Scorpion until now, so I've learned something casting my own tournament. Can't complain.
Okay, but the Arbalest moving in with pikes for cover, still only Knights. Cavalier's not even queued up. More Scorpion production.
I mean, he should just send in Showtells like crazy now. Just keep your ball of Arbalest together and send in the Showtells he wanted to make earlier to raid at this point.
Yeah, I think this game is well undecided at this point. I think the moment we started seeing Scorpions, I was losing hope for this match.
Yeah, I mean,
all the Vills dying on this gold, it's a massacre.
Yeah, and the fact that he's been in Imperial Age for a good 10 minutes, I think, now, or pretty close to, and still doesn't even have Cavalier in. I mean, at this point, RW is just sitting back, and he's like, oh, slow push now.
And there it is.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we had a very aggressive wall attempt here, and I don't think that did the Kiwi any good. I think if you would have saved that wood, invested it into farms, invested into an early stable play, and gotten scouts out early, this would have been a different story. Maybe not worked out, to a frank victory here for the Kiwi, but at least it would have, translated a little bit better for him.
Absolutely. I've got to say, a theme in the game, in this tournament, the games I've watched with you at least, has been the passive player is losing these games. It just goes to show that how much value there is in taking that stepping out of the safety of your base and going out to hurt someone.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a safe eco at home, you can't complain. And I think that has been the trend thus far for the most part. And interestingly enough, it's just a lower elo range here. I mean, we started with players for 1,000 elo to 1,300, and we split the brackets in two to make it a little bit more even. So at this point in the tournament, the elos are fairly even across the board for the semis and for the finals coming up. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this will translate into the finals, which will be a best of 5.
Absolutely. All right, so Kiwi's map pick. We are looking at Golden Pit. What do you think?
I mean, Golden Pit is a pretty solid map. I think the interesting part will be the civ selections here. I'm going to go ahead and load in and pause at 10 seconds here. But nonetheless, this should be a very interesting matchup for sure. One that I did not foresee at all. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, Lithuanians and Celts on Golden Pit. What do you think?
I mean, it depends on the builds at this point. The Kiwi played really passively last time. I think he needs to get to castle, get a few knights out, get some forward siege, and do what Celts do best. But at the same time, I mean, Lithuanians for Rwj, I mean, what scouts would be the best thing for him right now. And with their bonus, these relics will be a very interesting topic, to which they are actually favored on Rwj's side for sure.
Absolutely. I want to see a few scouts. I want to see more aggression out of RW than we saw the last game. Push forward. Keep Kiwi from getting to wherever he wants. But oh my goodness, a militia already?
Yeah, with a Lithuanian bonus starting food, you can do this and produce Vales behind this. It's gonna
Absolutely.
be a super drush, nice and early, but his best chance is to find the wood line, and at this rate, I think the wood line is going to be pretty safe for the Kiwi. At the same time, the scouting,
but
what do you do here? You don't know where you're going.
Right. I think it could throw Kiwi off. I like the aggression. I like the planning. He picked the Lithuanians with this in mind. He might even steal these sheep out from under Kiwi's nose, which would be all the more bonus. But as I was saying, I want to see scouts. I want to see knights. I want to see him get those relics and go forward with the knights or his unique unit early on.
Yeah,
keep the pressure on more than last time.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, he is headed in the wrong direction at this point. I mean, he is going to head to the corner here in the south, which isn't going to do him any good. He might even run into the line, lose a little bit of HP, but didn't find the sheep. And this is a really risky maneuver. I mean, I get the idea behind it. I get wanting to do this really early, but you have to prioritize sending your scout that way immediately and risking not having any food under your TC at the same time. But
I think it would have been a better move to scout a little with the militia. Have them help your scout. That way you can finish up the scouting earlier and then send everything out. Yeah. Not to mention, these militia distracting RW. He lost the Ville to his boar. No food under his teeth for a moment.
And having to bring in your boar at this stage isn't a bad plan, but when you lose a Ville to it, you've already drushed, you've already invested 120 food into that. I mean, we're looking at a 3 villager lead for the Kiwi right now.
Yeah, it's getting downright painful. I like the aggression, I like the bold play, but now these militia are sitting idle on the wrong side of the map.
Yep, and he's forcing it down with 3 villagers.
And the walls are already coming up for Kiwi. There's no way these militia get to the mark in time. So I love it. I love the spirit.
But too late. And actually, he just missed it by like a tile. So he has yet to find him.
He sees a stone. Hopefully, he realizes, or he'll catch it in a moment by luck, if nothing else. But it hurts. I like the spirit of that aggression. I like what that says about him as a player. I just wish it was better executed.
Yeah, I mean, and not to mention the map right now for the Kiwi is insane. One more wall to the north there between wood lines. He's got an entire corner that is basically already walled. And
absolutely. Now, very good walls also for RW when it comes down to it. Not as good, but he can't complain. The militia are back on their way, but Kiwi's playing very poorly if he lets us in at this point, right?
Yeah, I mean, interestingly, the score is really lopsided, but it's got to be all scouting and military numbers swaying the score, because RW is definitely behind right now. He's 2 vills behind, almost 3.
I think Kiwi still has not seen these militia. His scout did just run into them, but he was idle, so I don't think he was paying attention.
Yeah, and at the same time, the Kiwi, he's got a good eco behind this. It's running well. He's found his sheep. He's taken his sheep. He's taken his boar. And on the other side, about to have a boar expire underneath Rwj's.
With no more food under the TC.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is falling apart. 3 Ville lead in Dark Ages. painful, to say the
Yes,
least.
indeed. And I mean, what do you do with this? It's a rough one to watch here. I mean, it is what it is, but
And it's one of those things. If he had clicked a little bit to the left of the map instead of the bottom, we might be. The tone could be completely opposite right now.
yeah, absolutely.
It's such a close run thing.
Yeah, and it's going to be
Now,
interesting nonetheless to see how this translates. I mean, he is going out to the ostrich at the same time, so that is a nice play there.
yeah, I would prefer him to wall that forward there if he's going to go to the ostrich, because these militia and scout will be able to cause a little bit of pain on these villagers as they try to get ostriches. But he doesn't come around though. I think it comes down to just like the beginning of the game, the scouting. Um, don't really keep your scout with your militia like that. Have him out, have him move, see what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's not ideal in any situation at this point, but I mean, I do like his ideas. I do like his plan here. I did like the idea behind this. I hate the execution behind this. At home right now, he's wide open. He has no walls. He has no clue, what's actually going on inside of the base over here for the Kiwi. I mean, he can see, he's obviously got his barracks up, but he doesn't know if anything is coming forward right now. If there was a reverse drush from the Celt player, like, there are so many villagers. There's 8 of them, in fact, in front in that mill. Like, you leave yourself this open, didn't even collect all of your sheep. You had him sitting so far away from the town center. He actually clicked all of his villagers to berries after that boar. It's just a very rough position to be in.
Now, in his defense, he's coming up to feudal, not as far behind as we would have expected. Only 2 vills behind at this point, which is better than where he was earlier. So, could be worse.
It could be. I mean, the thing is he's going to be behind a bit to Castle Age, so he's going to still be, I think, 3 or 4 villagers behind, which still isn't great. I mean, he is going to be in a nice forward position, though. He does have map control at this point. He does have, his wall finally coming up in his base. It's very tight walls, but I mean, we've seen that work before. And I think we're going to see a bunch of villagers just head to the center here for him before long and start collecting as much gold as possible.
And I wouldn't blame him for that. He's at least getting some value out of this attempted drush. He's forced some houses. He's definitely taking attention on the Kiwi.
Yeah, I mean...
Is it worth how far behind he is, though? I don't think.
Yeah, he fortunately didn't lose a whole lot in the beginning, except for some villager production time, getting vills out sooner. Because they start with the extra 150 food. I mean, it's not a bad plan. It's going to be interesting to see what he does moving forward, though, as he has produced 1 spear, and he has not completely walled up. Villagers just finished the ostrich, and they're going to move back into the base of Rwj. He's not actually going to move out, and he actually brought back his scout and his militia.
Yeah,
I don't understand that maneuver at all.
I hate it. I hate it so much. These militia could get so much more value, like not a ton, but hitting the walls, causing some frustration, force more houses. You can at least be annoyance. Those militia are not going to get upgraded very far. They're not
hard to watch.
It's hard to imagine the Lithuanians committing to the militia line as their main unit for the game. So why save them? Why not use them to cause some anxiety?
Yeah, and I mean, I like the initiative, I like the plan, I like the try, but you have to scout your opponent first. And, I mean, even with 150 bonus food to start, like, you know what, that just allows you for a little bit of air when it comes to bringing in the boar, bringing in the sheep. It also gives you a little bit of a boost moving into your scout rush.
Absolutely. I like this idea, I really do. But I just, it's hard to make it work. You have to have good scouting. It's much better. When I play the Lithuanians, I definitely prefer you have that food. It gives you a little bit faster feudal if you want, or it gives you a little bit faster scouts when you get up, or it gives you a little bit of flexibility in your build order early on. This tactic can work, but you have to not like this.
Yeah, I mean,
give me,
he's given himself a rough position to be in that he doesn't need to be in at this point. And his opponent, seeing what came forward and knowing what he's got going on, fully walled, safe at home, going to be clicking up to castle anytime now. He does have his buildings. He's going to be getting his food momentarily. And on the other side, Rwj, he also has the res. He could balance his eco slightly, and he'll be up pretty quickly as well. But again, he brought back the militia. He brought back the scout. He could have forced some buildings down, forced some idle time from villagers, but.
So we're going into Castle Age. What are you expecting? What do you want to see? Lithuanians, I think, knights are the no-brainer. What do you want from the Celts?
I think the Celts need to go forward and get a siege workshop out as quickly as possible. Like, send the villager now, get it forward, try to get that up, try to get a stable up, or if you think you're going to be facing stable units, go siege pike push. I mean, you know that your opponent is behind. I mean, you get in there fast enough, you could do a lot of damage with the Celt siege.
Right. I think I would like to see, like you said, forward vills. Get it when your TC's up in the middle. Get a siege workshop up there, and start putting the pressure back. Unfortunately, what we saw last game, Kiwi was very passive in that game. There were a few moments where he had the initiative, he had the advantage, and he kind of sat on it.
Well, good news, though. 2 villagers moving out on the right-hand side.
Absolutely. That's what I like to see. This is the kind of play I wanted more of last game from Kiwi. So let's see if he can make it work.
Yeah, I mean,
unfortunately for RW Scouts, it's too late to catch it.
Yeah, he's definitely got a scout up here. The Kiwi, he's taking it cautiously, trying to be safe about it. He sees where his opponent's walls are over there. His scout, where his scout is now, I would imagine he's going to send his vills right there. He's going to start building. And now, what I think we might see here is we're going to see some sort of knight line come out for the Lithuanian player, but I don't think it's going to be enough at this point. The siege workshop is going to come down. I would expect to see barracks come down after that. And we also see the Kiwi adding his first town center safely by one of his goals to secure his map.
Absolutely. I think the 15% faster Celt infantry definitely hurt Rwj if he's going knights here, and he is. Knights are already queued up. It just makes them a little bit less effective.
Yeah, interestingly enough, though, the Kiwi's building a forward stable, so we're going to see Knights Siege Push from the Celt player, which at this point in the game, with no relics collected for Rwj, and you already have your knight production out, and a barracks forward as well, Mangonel's going to be coming out. I think that we're going to see a really big push, and fortunately, it looks like the Kiwi's going to he's actually going to miss the scouting in the middle with all these villagers coming forward. So there's going to be a forward town center for Rwj as well.
That hurts to miss that, but he will catch it here. Oh no, he won't. His knight went around the... Oh, he found it. Oh, thank goodness. But it's probably going to be too late, to deny that. That is good for RW. I like him taking map control again. I like him getting out there and making the game his own.
Yeah, I mean, he is going to get a town center up in the middle, but he doesn't know about this push on the side here yet. He saw a few knights come forward, but he might have just assumed that they were scouting the middle to see what was going on in there. And at this point, I think we're going to see a really good push. 2 mangonels already up. We've got a monastery, a barracks, and a stable with a good number of knights already out. And he's going to have to bring back all of his military that he has in the middle, which isn't too far of a jog, but I think he's going to take him off gold in his own base, hurt his wood line, maybe even be able to pressure that town center.
Right, but how much does the gold matter when you have a TC up in the middle? I agree. It's going to be pressure. I think the problem is that he waited until Castle Age. I think the Kiwi needed a drush. If he had got a drush on target to delay this castle time on RWJ, this would be a lot more effective of a move.
Siege is going to go ahead and take down a few palisade walls. Units are coming forward. Currently, though, the knight numbers are pretty equal. With production going to be... Oh no, the Kiwi... He's going to save his unit, his mangonels. And the knight fight is not happened yet. Interesting enough.
Throwing a few spears into the mix. Kiwi's playing that in cautiously, but he does want to get these mangonels forward to start causing damage.
The knight upgrades are very opposite, though. We have +2/+2 for the Kiwi, and we only have +1 attack for RWJ.
Right. It's but these mangonels are going to be at risk if he's not cautious, and he's going to lose probably both.
Yeah, I mean, he does have a ram coming forward, though. He's gonna force the attention to the back of RW's base. And, I mean, the interesting thing is going to be, is that gold and town center in the middle going to pay off? And at this point, it's not being pressured, so I think he's in a really good position after all this.
It is, but my concern is that there's no Vil production for RW. He's putting the food into knights. He's not able to keep Vils, so he's going to fall behind on Vils. He's already down 43 to 53, and the lack of production on his end is not going to make that any better.
Yeah, and at the same time, we have a monk healing up the knights for the Kiwi. Upgrades are still really off. These knights coming forward, they're going to run right into spears if they're not careful. The RWJ does see that he's got a bunch of rams over here, and I mean, he's going to have 3 battering rams. He's going to have a decent number of knights here, at least 10 of them. And
Pike is coming in.
Yeah, I mean, RWJ, though, he is starting to get his villager production up again, and he is getting a siege workshop in there, and he has some defensive military units. So, I mean, he can definitely hold from this, and given that he's had the center for so long, he's actually getting up an archery range, and I'm guessing cav archers? Yeah, in the queue it looks like we see cav archers coming out for him.
I like to see the counterattack. I feel like we've missed a lot of that in some of these games. The player on the defensive gets a little too focused in on their defense. I like the siege workshop at home for RW. I would like to see maybe a mangonel to take care of these rams.
Yeah, I think at this point you have to have a mangonel. I don't think you have another option. I mean, the cav archer's coming out. It's a nice switch, but they're not going to have any upgrades whatsoever. So he's going to have to at least get fletching to make it worthwhile. Otherwise, he's just investing a lot of res into a unit that is going to miss a lot of shots.
But to some degree, it might be worth it just to shift some of the momentum, shift the pressure. There's actually a hole into the base if Kiwi doesn't wall it up, and he's not. So there's a hole he could run in. He's about to mine through gold and make another hole. There's a lot of room for a potential raid.
Yeah, the problem now, though, is we're seeing a lot of knights moving out of the base of RWJ, even though he should be able to see those units sitting there.
No, I like this move. I like this. This is aggression. This is him knowing he needs to change the pace of the game. And I think it's also him knowing he saw how Kiwi played the last game. He was passive with his knights. He left his knights sitting and not moving. Maybe he's counting on doing it again. And you got to remember, RW does have pikemen for defense, so he won't melt too completely.
Yeah, but the Rams are going to head in here before the counterattack comes in. A lot of pikes for the Kiwi here as well, with a Scorpion behind. I think this is going to be a huge base trade right now. And right now, the Kiwi, though, he's the one that's in. He's the one that's going to get some damage in before RW breaks in. And he's not focused on it at all, so he should definitely be in here with a decent number of knights and cav archers of his own. But will the Rams make the difference? That's my question. Are we going to see town centers die? Are we going to see units even run in right now? Right now, he's not even running in. He's got a hole. He's not running in. He's going to run back. RWJ is running back.
That's the wrong move. Running back. It's too late to run back. You have to commit. I don't know how you hold it home. He needed the mangonel.
He had one mangonel, but was not
Oh,
enough. He did have one, but the knights swept in and took it out, no problem.
oh, it's an unfortunate. That's a bit of a quick game, quick end there. But that's over. I mean, he's got in on the front. He's doing some damage, but there's no way it's enough. All the vills leaving his base.
Yeah, it hurts. He does have a lot in the middle still, so he's gonna try to hold out a little bit longer. But I don't
And he
think
does
this
have
base
the
trade
castle.
is gonna be enough. I don't think he did enough damage. I think he's too far behind at this point. I mean, we got a defensive castle, a rush job castle coming up, actually blocking some gold resources here for the Kiwi. But at the same time, we look back at RW's base, rams and scorpions with tons of knights just flooding in here.
Yeah, I mean, I like a good comeback story. I like that he has the middle, and he could do a lot with that gold. But I don't know. This is something you come back from. Bill count is 37 to 70.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Like, I think it's over here. I mean, I think you just shift into massive military production. You don't even worry about any sort of age, any more sort of upgrades. Just throw as much as you can into knights and houses and just storm the map, storm the middle. I mean, Letus is coming out, or Litus is coming out, which is going to be a decent unit against the knights, but he's not going to be able to get the numbers up with just producing out of one castle at this rate.
Correct. But I like he's trying to reboom. He's got a TC up. He's building more farms. I don't like that he didn't get as much damage. He should have been able to do more for those knights quicker. And ultimately, you're right. If he kept them at home, he wouldn't be in this position. It was a bold move, and I like that.
Yeah, it was just unfortunately timed, and whenever he could have run in and done a lot of damage on the left-hand side of the Kiwi's base, and there might actually not even be a hole there. There is actually another palisade wall there, so he couldn't actually get in yet, but he could have gone through.
Palisade is, 40 HP. He could have went through.
Yeah, and
Woad Raiders.
Yep, Woad Raiders coming out. The counterattack has finally made it in, but, I mean, what is left over here? I mean, you've got one town center, no military production in your own base because all your unit buildings are going to be going down. I mean, military is 54 to 28 right now.
Now Rams coming in, but they're going to die. They're not going to take out this castle yet.
No, those Rams are going to be just fine. Look at all these knights flood in here.
Yeah, what are the numbers? Yeah, I guess it's 12 to 22. There's some Litus and there's some Cav Archers in there, but...
Well, and he's not even... Rwj wasn't even using all his military there. If he would have had it all there at the beginning, he probably would have saved a lot of those Rams. But this is probably the last fight, if I had to guess here. Because we're going to see a lot of numbers go down for RW. That castle probably stays up if he can get it up, but nope. The Knights upgrades just aren't there for RW at this point.
Absolutely. That was a massacre there. GG comes in from RW. Well played, both players. Looking forward to a game 3 between these two.
Yeah, I mean, the Celt play was really well played out for the Kiwi this time, as he was not passive at all. He forced his way.
He wasn't. I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really pleasant surprise turning this around. It's good to see someone who plays passively because of the situation he felt he was in. In the next game, go ahead and push forward and actually come back to get the win. So a quick look at the stats here. I mean, obviously it's looking like Kiwi wins all things here because he did give it a try, but I mean, villager count difference, you can see it in the timeline here, very huge. But the Kiwi gets a win, and we are forced into a game number 3, which will decide the series and the last series of the semifinals. So what map do you think that RW has chosen? Or have you already looked at it?
Must be pleasant for you to see there, Mr. Juice.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I know you're a fan.
3, 2, 1, go.
Alright, so Return of the Franks. Coming in on RW side of the Franks this time. Britons on Kiwi side. I think it's a pretty classic matchup Civ-wise, and a uh, pretty predictable matchup on Hideout. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm really surprised that we haven't seen a few different civs here in this matchup today. I mean, RW he's bounced around a little bit with civs. I like that he's not picking just let's go with Cav, let's go with Cav Archer. He's mixed it up a little bit. And the Kiwi, the same. I actually think that Britons would have been better on Golden Pit for the Kiwi, and Celts would have been better here for RW just because of the you can wall your opponent's map if you get forward enough. Put a lot of pressure on, not allow them to expand. But at the same time, this matchup here, like you said, it is an old school classic matchup here. I mean, who do you favor in this situation?
Like I said, Britons, Franks, two classic civs, both two civs that can be very, very good on this map. It's going to depend on how it's played, and I know that's such a trite answer, but if Kiwi's able to get forward with archers, break through the palisade, put some pressure on early, stop the knights from ever coming, that could decide the game right there. If it gets into Castle Age, then things become a bit more up in the air. But I think that's one of the Britain's players' best times to strike, is it not?
Yeah, I mean, I think that any way you look at this is a very, very good Civ matchup. I mean, obviously, Britons are not going to have any cav whatsoever, but they are going to have really good archer line. Can throw some infantry in front of that, which is trash army. Cheap, easy to defend with against this. And, if he strikes early enough, like you suggested, I mean, the knight numbers are not going to be up there. And interestingly enough, it's going to be a very good relic generation for Rwj.
Yeah. I think it's going to come down to scouting, and it's going to come down to feudal play. Whether there is or isn't feudal play.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't see feudal play from the Kiwi. I just don't think it's coming. I think he's fast castling, and he's going to try to build up as many archer numbers and play defensively again. I don't think this is a good civ to go out early and try to push with for him, given what we've seen from him thus far in the tournament. I mean, he hopefully surprises us, but I think he's going to be worried about losing numbers to scouts, because obviously that's what we're expecting from Rwj here. But we could also see a very, very, very big boom for both players moving into Castle Age, and we might not see any military production until then. We just will have to wait and see, I guess. And as far as this map gen goes, I really don't favor either player's map better than the others. I mean, I do like that RJ has the deer closer to his mill over there on his berries, and I like his gold being a little bit farther away, but it could also be ranged from that side if the Kiwi is the pressure on that side. Middle is going to be fairly close here. Chopping towards one another could be, a possibility for a tower to force the wood lines to move. I don't think we've seen Franks or Britons played out on this map all that well thus far in the tournament either. I just think that they were outplayed strategy-wise, and I think that out of both of these players right now, I would probably pick Rwj to win this, just because I think he's been a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more good with his military control, basically. And I would favor that over the Kiwi's defensive strategy here, because once you get to post-imp, what are you going to do with Britons against Franks?
I mean, but here's the key stat right now. 22 Vils versus 20 advantage to RW. This is Dark Age. If you don't have the same Vil count, it's because you're playing poorly. If you're behind, you're getting idle TC time. You're not having the food you need. There's no excuse. It's sloppy.
Yeah, I mean, it's not ideal. It definitely hurts your eco. And in this kind of a game, even if it turns into a boom fest, you're going to be sitting back hurting on your villager counts just because you had a little bit of a idle TC, and on this map, Franks, their bonuses are coming into play quite nicely. I mean, yes, they are getting, faster foraging villagers, free farm upgrades. I mean, I'm surprised that DE hasn't nerfed the Franks yet and taken one of them away. I am.
I don't know.
I think 2 big eco upgrades like that, I wouldn't be surprised to see that change in the future. I don't want it to, because I love the Frank Civ and how it is, but I could definitely see him losing the berry upgrade.
I don't think so. I think, if we're talking way back in the old Conqueror's Day or whatever, I get you. But where we're at now, they've improved so much. They sort of been so many new civs and so many buffs to old civs. It's just, I don't think they're overpowered in the way they were way back when.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that, but I feel like they're nerfing more civs than they're buffing right now, and Franks have yet to be touched. I hope it doesn't happen, but you never know what they're gonna do anymore. They've done some interesting things. I've liked a lot of what they've done, but we'll see what happens. And as far as this game's going right now, it's looking like we're going to see a boom into feudal. We do have a good number of villagers on wood and gold for the Kiwi, so I would expect to see some archer play coming from him. But on the other side, I think this is a fast castle. 27 pop up for him, and the Kiwi, or 27 up for the Kiwi, 26 up for RJ. But RJ's res, he's already got enough food to click. He's just waiting on the gold, and by the time he gets his 2 buildings down, I could definitely see him clicking up and just going straight into knights.
I just want to know what happened to the Vil counts. They evened up at some point, so there was at one point a 3 Vil lead for RW, and I don't know where he threw that.
Yeah, it's looking like most of it was idle time at this point. And yeah, collect damage. The set between Exorcist and Castellan was probably one of the best that we've seen thus far in the tournament. It was really closely matched, really good set of games. I mean, I'm super excited to move to the finals here. There's so much that I've enjoyed with this tournament, and I mean, there's been things that I've never thought that I would know now. Like, why would I think that Franks have heavy scorpion, or why would I see Frankish, calf archers? It's been an interesting roller coaster. I've seen a lot of players go with Celts, a lot of siege pushes. I've also seen some attempted monk siege pushes on Arena, which has been great. Seeing the variety of strategies from the different pools of players here have been really interesting. Yeah, the Vil count, again, we're back up to +2 for Kiwi now. Both players have clicked the castle, though. Rwj, that's probably why he's so far down. He is, 40% behind. But I'm not sure what we're going to see here. We don't even have an archery range up for the Britain player yet.
Yeah, it's going to be a boom. I'm surprised with the players playing like this to not see any walls. I feel like either one could have walled up fairly easily and bought themselves a little more time. But maybe they're both counting on early castle aggression, and that's the plan.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would have liked to see the Britain player go over here and wall the short side of the map over here, closest to his base, to force those knights and scouts to have to run to the other side. I mean, that much of a shift, especially if you're expecting to get over there. Say Rwj builds, 10 knights before he even sends them out. You've just bought yourself so much time by having that wall there. Even if it's a palisade wall and he gets through, you know it's coming, you know you've delayed him, and you know what to prepare for at that point.
Right. So interesting first units being produced for Our man Kiwi, pikemen, or spearmen.
Yep, getting the
Excuse me.
spears out. He's obviously worried about the defense of his base. I mean, a few spearmen isn't going to be bad. He is going to get the archery range up. The problem now, though, is he's got to tech in to crossbows.
And he doesn't have the numbers yet.
Yeah,
he needed
no
production in feudal.
Yep. So
he's going to be behind.
Yeah, he's going to be behind quite significantly, as we already have 4 knights produced sitting in stables for RWJ. But it's not going to take anything for them to come through some palisade walls over here, especially if you only have archers and a few spearmen. I mean, we are going to see a double archery range play here, and it looks like it's only going to be 2 town centers for the Kiwi.
Right, but knights are rolling out. But the spear numbers are here for Kiwi for the time being. 6 spears is nothing 6 knights will laugh at, especially if archers coming out behind.
Yeah, it's just a very passive play, again, from the Kiwi. I'm not a huge fan of this, but with Britons, I mean, if you're going to turtle up and play a game, Britons are just fine to do it with, though. I mean, the extra range on the crossbows in Castle, you know, he can defend quite nicely from this, and with the spearmen in front, I mean, this force is, you know, the knights, he could take this fight right now and be just fine.
I just would have liked to see if you're going to play this way, go for the stone walls. It's not that much of an investment on the short side, but it buys you so much time.
Well, especially considering he's only put up 1 extra TC. He hasn't put down the second one, which you would normally want to save that stone for. So investing that into the walls over there would have been a very nice thing to do to buy yourself some time at the very least.
Absolutely, Clag. Brits would love every map to be Black Forest.
Well, Black Forest will not be in any tournament that I put on. I can promise you that much. We are not going in that direction. I don't want to sit here and watch a Black Forest 1v1 go on for 2 hours. No thank you. Alright, well, we are seeing the 3rd town center come down for the Kiwi now. Only 2 for the Frank player, but a 3rd one coming up on the front. I don't really care for this town center position. It's only going to help him get some stone in. I mean, he does have some gold there, but I really don't like this position. I would have rather seen it forward in between the wood line and the gold, honestly. Given he has the map control and the knight numbers to defend from it, I think he should probably take as much map control as possible, maybe even trying to wall up that short side himself.
Yeah, I would like something here. I feel like RW is allowing too much time, free reign for archers, crossbowmen to be built up. The pressure is insufficient. Yeah, I just want to see more right now. I'm not happy with the lack of action from both players.
I mean, I think what he's going to do, since he has 6 on stone at the moment, I think he's going to actually probably try to put a castle up there and secure that side once he has enough stone for the castle. And in the meantime, he's just building up knight numbers, you know, going to try to force his opponent. And as Britons, if you have to walk a long way around, that's so much time. You know,
absolutely,
and that will hurt a lot. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, the knight production's pretty consistent out of 2 stables right now. I mean, so many farms for RW there, 26 of them currently. Far fewer for the Briton player, but he doesn't really need them except for to grab some upgrades and, you know, age up, which, you know, at this point, I mean, are we gonna see this into a post-imp game here?
I hate that we will, but it's kind of feeling like it. I feel like there was a good window for RW to strike earlier. He failed to. Now his knights are looping around the long way of the map, accomplishing nothing. I mean, what do you get out of running over there? Absolutely nothing.
He's actually bringing both units of knights back towards his base, so he's not feeling secure enough to keep his units forward, even though he would have the mobility to run back.
Right. I feel like the only way this doesn't go post-imp is if Kiwi takes the initiative right now and goes forward. Take the crossbows, take the spears, make them pikes, right? get pikes, get crossbows, go forward, punish RW for being so passive. As a Frank player, I mean, he's building all these skirmishers, and I mean, skirmishers aren't a bad move, but it's just too passive.
Yeah, I think though he is gonna be able to put a castle on. Probably he's gonna put it on the hill beside his base here, where his knights are sitting to the south of his base. Secure that side completely, and I think he'll probably try to force fights on the opposite side, or he'll put a castle over there on the short side and try to force fights over there. Either way, I mean, we need to see more aggression here from both players at this point in the game. Right now, it's 4 town centers for the Kiwi. Yes, he will be booming like a madman, so he's definitely thinking post-imp, but 3 on the opposite side. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they play this, and it's also going to be interesting to see if we get some longbows in here, because we have quite a few villagers on stone for the Kiwi.
Yeah, quite a few villas on stone. Not to mention, a very thin gap between the wood lines right now could play into the Britain's hands later on.
Yeah, and unfortunately neither of them see it quite yet. It's getting very close, and we'll have to see how this goes for them. But I would expect to see a tower at this point, and maybe a cut later on, but we'll see. Why, hello there, 24. Welcome, man. Welcome to the chat. Welcome everyone else out there viewing. Clag Damage, Minimone, Weasel, Knight, everyone that's showed up tonight. Appreciate it, guys. And of course you, Hitch. You're still here.
I am. I'm stuck with you probably forever. So
it would seem so. Yes, yes. We actually see a 5th town center coming for the Britain player. I don't know why you want to go 5 TC for Britons. I really don't.
I mean,
but
I gotta assume defense, right? Like that's the only argument I can make. Is I mean, but even then, it's not a very good argument. What I want is like I think both of these players have showed some strengths in the series so far. But what I want is whoever goes forward to take a little bit more initiative, a little bit more aggression when they go into the next round.
Yeah, I mean, RW here is building a castle forward. He is going to secure the gold here. He is going to secure one little area there. He could have built the castle right in the middle of the land that is dark, that you cannot touch on the edge of the map, and the trees, and he could have forced a fight here. He could have forced a position here, but instead he builds it back, and, I mean, the Kiwi could potentially just walk right behind that.
Right, I don't like the castle position. I mean, I understand the instinct to protect the gold, but just a few tiles to the north, he would have locked down the side of the map until Trebs came in.
Yeah, and I really am disappointed with the Kiwis.
Again.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed with the Kiwis' villager count right now. If you're at 5 town centers, you should have a massive villager lead, and he's actually behind in villagers by almost 10. And
yeah,
his composition doesn't cost him any food. Like, I mean, his spearmen do.
Right.
He has built, holy crap, quite a few spearmen. I didn't see all those over there, but
yeah. They should be pikes by this time, though. What are you doing? If you're going to build, God knows how many. Let's you know what? Let's do it. Let's get a count. Nope, it's wrong. 17 spearmen. It's worth getting pikemen.
Absolutely, and more are still being produced out of stables. I do like the stone wall on the back of his base there. I like that he's trying to protect himself over there, but at the same time, there's a lot of valuable resources
stone
over
wall.
There. Oh.
So
he's trying to grab the relic, man. That's
so this tells you where he's going, though. He wants to slog this one out. He wants to just punch through. He wants to use that Britain range. He wants to use this Werewolf Trebs and just roll through here, slow and steady. That's why he's building up the pikes and the crossbows, slow and steady. He wants to wall up, fortified wall in the back when he gets them, to make sure there are no surprises.
Yep,
and unfortunately, I think RW is just going to let him do it.
He is, but RW is sitting on higher villager count. I mean, he's going to be in pretty good position. He's actually looking to shift to the other side, it looks like. He's going to be okay sitting on this side with his Treb, or with his castles over here. And he's going to shift to the other side. It looks like he's actually sending villagers in that direction as well, which I think is a terrible maneuver for him. If he would have been aggressive early with his few knight numbers and just patrolled out in front here, he would have really forced his hand, forced Kiwi to have to come out and fight him, have to produce military units, not produce a ton of villagers.
Yeah, I hope whoever goes forward has a kind of looks back at these videos and sees the opportunities for more aggression.
Yes, and for the love of God, will you buy pikemen? You have 29 spears. I've never seen this many spears on a screen as spearmen.
Ready.
But Imp comes in finally there for Kiwi, and it's on the way for RW. RW, though, I'm assuming he wants a castle. Am I right? Yeah, he definitely. You know, he doesn't have the. Oh no, he has the Frank castle, so he has the stone for it.
He has the stone for more than one.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at wood.
488 is all it costs is the Franks for a castle, and so, he's gonna drop one right in the face of those houses.
I don't love it though. I would have rather seen him a little bit of scouting, see the stone walls. The knights could have broken through these houses fairly quickly and been in and doing damage. But now the castle's in the way. He can't take out the house right away. And if Kiwi has the sense to react to this, he can stonewall up. But it doesn't look like he's going to.
Yeah, I mean, it's not pretty right now for either side. I am seeing more spearmen than I've ever seen in my life. I don't understand. Did Britons somehow lose pikemen? I just want to know. We finally see Relics being captured by the Kiwi, but he walled out his other side. Both players could have easily walled either side at this point, and at least bought themselves time to readjust army or shift to the other side.
But the great Kiwi army is on the move. Trebuchets and crossbow going back to counter this attack on its other side. But the 36 spearmen are going to remain on the right side of the map, just in case. No need for them to go fight the knights. They're going to hold down the fort over here.
Yeah. He's going to get Imp. He needs to get his upgrades in as quickly as he can. Yeoman is coming in for the Kiwi right now, which is going to be good for him. This castle is going to go down. It was far too forward. At least put it back a little bit. Have a little bit of a surprise. Like you said, those knights could have been through. The knights could have been through much earlier. I mean, knight production continues. Cavalier upgrade is just now being clicked. And we're going to see a knight skirm play probably all the way, I would say, from the Frank player. I wouldn't expect him to change from that. I mean, this castle's going down. Two trebs would normally not take down a castle with enough villagers repairing, but there's only 4 villagers here.
Yeah, I feel like RW in this game has been throwing away his mobility advantage. Knights are just sitting here. Knights were not fighting. They're running around the map, but they're not doing anything.
Yeah, I mean, he is going to go ahead and start pressuring the other side as well, so he's going to try to split up some military numbers, but he's going to run in here. All these spearmen are actually going to do a fine job against those few knights, but the problem behind that is these arbalests behind. You don't have your upgrades yet. You're not into cav. You need to wait for your upgrades to come in at this point. You have a ton of numbers. At this point, stop producing. Just keep getting your upgrades so you're as upgraded as you possibly can be. And just hold your map control. Wall it off. Another castle coming up for the Frank player. And I get that castles are cheap here for the Franks, but I do not like this play at all. These pikemen are just going to die to some skirmishers real quick. They are going to get some value out of them, though, which is terrible to watch, considering they could have gotten a ton more value given that they were pikemen. And at this point, halberdier is even an option. On the other side, Rams are coming forward to try to snipe this treb. It looks like the push is going to be on that side, and it's going to be the best for RW on that side.
Yeah.
On the other side, the arbalests are just going to melt everything.
Right. I do like that he's at least shifted sides. He's not letting this thing go one way or the other. When things slowed down on the left, he did switch to the right. He is the one applying pressure. That's the best thing I can say right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's going to swing in here and snipe all 3 trebs on that side. His army on the other side is just skirmishers fighting Arbalests, which is a good trade for him. It also kept those Arbalests very distracted over there, as we also see Light Cav come in as well. I'm not sure that
Yeah.
I care for that. I think he should have just waited, saved up some resources, and got himself to Paladin.
See, I was about to say what I wanted RWJ to do, and he's already on it. I want to see archery ranges on the left, pour the skirms in on the left, make the arbs fight you, make it painful over there. Put your gold on the right side, though. Go in, pressure the economy. I'm liking this play so far.
Yeah, I mean, the villager count's still in favor of RWJ2, and when you're facing someone who's going 5 town centers, you should not be losing.
Look at this Treb situation on the left.
Yep. Castle undefended, gonna go ahead and treb down one of those town centers, not the castle, so you might even lose that.
Yeah, and then another move I don't like, sending the Cavalier around the map from the left side to the right side. I get that you're pushing on the right side, but you might as well keep him over here. It's such a massive amount of time wasted.
Yeah, I mean,
and they could have broken through that house and sniped the vills and stopped this castle.
Yeah, I think that the unfortunate part is he's trying to focus in one place, which is a strength of the Britons anyways. I mean, if these spearmen would be upgraded, this might be a glitch. Like, I swear this has to be a glitch. Why would you make this many pikemen? But, like, or this many spears and not get the upgrades? Like, you're just pouring them in. I get meat shield, but, you know, I guess that would be the cheapest meat shield possible, I suppose. But, man. I mean, he has a ton of Arbalest on the other side, though. 40, 51 on one side, so he is going to have to pull back over here and just try to get as many skirms up as he can. I mean, he needs to start adding some siege weapons. I believe he needs to add some rams just to soak up the archer fire at this point.
Yeah, can't go wrong with that move here.
I mean, anytime you face Britons, if you can get siege ram, you're in good shape. I don't think that Franks get siege ram, though. Not 100% on that one. But,
yeah,
even if they don't, battering rams will take a decent amount of HP, and you can get in much closer with the skirms, and what looks to be a very large light cav army coming up soon. Although he has started making paladin finally.
Yeah, Franks do not get siege ram, but they do get capture ram, so.
Yeah, I mean, that would do a decent amount there. I mean, the res for the Kiwi is insane right now. He's got so much food. He's got a good bit of stone. He's got his pop up to 184, but he can't push right now. He's being attacked on both sides, and right now we're seeing the skirmishers get really close to all these Arbalests and spearmen, and that's just going to spell trouble for the Kiwi, as he's just going to start to lose a lot of his main mass of Arbalests, which is down to 40 already.
Absolutely. Now, he has some more on the left, but it's all skirms on that side. Skirm and Treb push on the left, which is not a bad composition facing the Britons. Skirm Treb can do work.
Yeah, I mean, any way we look at this right now, the player pushing is RWJ. He also,
Absolutely.
if you haven't noticed, put a castle up in the very middle and trebs, and actually treb down I believe it was a town center over here in the middle, and might chop through correct. And get a good bit of paladin or light cav in there to raid. We have a
Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like he's thinking about it well enough. There are no cavalier there, but he could chop through easily with this treb at this point. Go for it, man. Make the world a better place and fight.
He's got to get some siege up here. He's really got to get siege up here. I swear the Kiwi, if he doesn't get pikemen in this game, this is a big throw. Like, unfortunately, he needs to get it. He needs to get pikemen. He needs to get halberdier. He had 30 plus of them earlier. He could have been in really
still building spearmen. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
And at this point, it's looking worse and worse for the Kiwi. He's got some trebs coming up in his face. The wood lines are gonna get, harder and harder for him to take at this point. RWJ getting that castle up in the middle was a really nice move. I actually missed it actually coming up and looked at it late, but villager counts 112 to 75 and going down at this point. Arbalest numbers aren't there.
It's too bad. For Kiwi here, I felt like he had the unit numbers and the unit types at one point to go forward and make this happen, but he got distracted overly by that push on the left, and it ends up that was a great move in hindsight by RW. He split up the Britain player's focus, split up his units, and defeated them in detail.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a good series still. I think the Kiwi strategy here just didn't quite work out for him. I mean, you gotta get pikemen. You just gotta get pikemen. Also, I think the Kiwi was just getting ring archer armor there, which was pretty late for him at this point. He lost tons of archers. I mean, his composition was not great, especially without halberdiers. I think he would have been fine if he would have, upgraded those. But nonetheless, a good series from both. Hope to see you guys more in the future. And RWJ is on his way to the finals. And we're going to actually take a look at those brackets here in 1 second after we check the statistics from this series. I mean, the stats weren't too bad, honestly. It was pretty good. 112 to 111 high. RW did pick up some relics towards the end there. I mean, he did produce more. I just didn't like the lax position that both players were taking early on, like we talked about.
Yeah, it's definitely what I want RW to take going forward. Is just a little bit more aggression. He played it right later in that game. I feel like he played well later on, but I think he could have ended it a lot earlier if he had been willing to dive in with those knights a little more aggressively early on.
Yeah, and I think the Kiwi's in the same position, actually. I think he also needs to move forward and try to prioritize a little bit more aggression, especially when you have the military numbers. Move out on the map, try to get some Vil kills, try to get some position on the map, put some pressure on. He did a really good job on the Golden Pit map with the Celts, but I think, he's probably very comfortable with that strategy. Gotta
And
look into other strategies a little bit more and
mm-hmm.
practice them a little bit more. But nonetheless, he made it all the way to the semifinals. Congrats to
Right.
him, and
Yeah.
good luck to RWJ moving on.
Yep. Word in the chat is that Kiwi has told someone that he actually doesn't really know how to play hideout. So that's too bad. It would have been nice if he had the opportunity, become a little more familiar with the map. It might have played out differently there.
Absolutely. But nonetheless, guys, I am expecting to cast one of the finals tomorrow between Minimone and Timberhawk Vondi. I've received word we have those wrecks already. We're going to go ahead and jump on them tomorrow. It's a best of 5. I don't know how many games it is yet. I'm waiting for our data wizard to send that information over. Told him to wait till after the semifinals, so I didn't know who actually won the games tonight. And so I'm casting that tomorrow. Hitch, you going to be joining me for that one?
I should be able to. Don't see any reason I wouldn't.
Alright, sounds good. For everybody out here right now watching on Twitch, appreciate you guys coming by, being active in the chat, supporting this tournament. This is going to be the end of the stream. I'm going to be uploading these to YouTube over the next day or so. And tomorrow night, guys, same time, I'm going to start casting the finals between Minimone and Timberhawk Vondi. That's who won tonight. So, I hope you guys had a good night, and I'll catch you guys later.